A population of 1.4 billion, a fabricated figure and vanishing villages. China once boasted of being the world's most populous nation, with over 1.4 billion people. Yet, the reality exposes a colossal lie. Official data from late 2024 reported a population of 1.483 billion, down 1.39 million from the previous year, the third consecutive year of negative growth. However, credible leaks suggest a far grimmer truth. A 2022 Shanghai police database revealed the actual population might be closer to 970 million, while estimates based on salt consumption point to a mere 800 million. The phenomenon of ghost villages has become a haunting symbol of demographic collapse. From 2000 to 2023, the number of natural villages plummeted from 3.63 million to 2.34 million, meaning over 170 villages vanish daily. In rural areas, young people flee to cities for work, leaving behind abandoned homes overgrown with weeds and only a handful of lonely elderly residents. A villager from Kangshaowang lamented, "In over 20 years here, not a single baby has been born in the past decade." This is not natural decline, but the devastating legacy of the decades-long one-child policy, which the CCP now scrambles to conceal to maintain its superpower image. Mass school closures, the world's lowest birth rate. In major cities like Shanghai, the demographic crisis is glaringly evident through a wave of school closures. In the first half of 2025 alone, over 80 schools, mostly kindergartens and private institutions, shuttered, adding to an alarming tally from the previous year. Kindergarten enrollment has plummeted 37% over the past 6 years, reflecting a total fertility rate, TFR, of just 0.6, the lowest globally, even below South Korea. Despite Shanghai's status as China's wealthiest city per capita, residents hesitate to have children due to exorbitant childcare costs, intense educational pressures, and economic uncertainty. Raising a child is exhausting. The pressure starts in first grade, one resident shared. Beyond Shanghai, cities like Chongqing, officially 30 million people, Ningbo and Xiamen resemble ghost towns, abandoned factories and deserted shopping malls. Bloggers question, is this a nation of 1.4 billion or a population collapse hidden behind manipulated numbers? The CCP's new 2025 childcare subsidies, 3,600 yuan per year per child until age 3, are mocked as inadequate. 300 yuan a month can't even buy milk powder. Demographer Yi Fuxian likened the birth rate to a rock rolling into an abyss, now at the bottom with no way to pull it up. Tsinghua University forecasts a population drop to 320 million by 2100, threatening Beijing's superpower ambitions. Reversed birth policies, from one child to forced procreation. In a desperate pivot, the CCP has flipped from its draconian one-child policy to pressuring citizens to have multiple children, exposing its contradictions and failures. Former family planning offices have morphed into birth encouragement units, interrogating citizens. A viral video showed an official telling a 33-year-old man, "You don't need to marry, but you must have kids, or history will blame you for empty schools and deserted streets." Newlywed women face relentless calls asking, "Are you pregnant yet?" prompting one to retort, "Is my womb public property?" Rumors swirl of potential fines or labor camps for singles over 30 who remain childless. The birth rate, hovering around 1 for 2 years, ranks among the world's lowest. Yet the regime fails to address root causes like economic stagnation, high unemployment, and soaring housing costs. Young people resist. Even animals, don't reproduce in harsh environments. Subsidies like 5,000 yuan for a third child are derided as false advertising, with many payments undelivered. A Xiangzhou resident complained, "They promised 15,000 yuan for a third child, but I haven't seen a cent in a year." In Hubei, bureaucratic absurdity denied subsidies because twins don't count as two children. The generation born under the one-child policy, now pressured to have more, highlights the CCP's attempt to bury past mistakes to cling to power. Exploding social unrest. Citizens rise up, officials slain. Chinese society is simmering with unrest as citizens, pushed to the brink by land grabs and forced demolitions, resort to bloody violence. The CCP spends more on domestic security than defense, acknowledging the greatest threat comes from its own people. On August 14, 2025, in Dongkong Tong Village, Henan, authorities demolished an unauthorized poverty alleviation complex, sparking violent clashes. Viral footage showed bulldozers razing homes as officials beat villagers. On August 13th in Tong Village, Shenyang, police stormed private homes for a redevelopment project, offering a paltry 1.68 compensation ratio. In Guizhou, on August 12th, dozens of unidentified men flattened ancestral homes for a water project, leaving residents homeless. Violence has escalated to fatalities. On July 5th in Chaozhou, Guangdong, a villager stabbed a party secretary to death over a 9,000 yuan shack demolition. Earlier in Lianping, Guangdong, a forest-to-farmland campaign ended with a mayor stabbed to death after 3 days. These are just the tip of the iceberg. Local corruption and economic decline drive citizens to despair. One netizen warned, "The danger isn't the knife, but the hatred in people's hearts." Former Beijing lawyer Li Hengqing stated, "This is the consequence of autocracy. Disempowered people have no legal recourse, only desperate resistance." The CCP conceals the scale of unrest to avoid exposing a faltering regime. Financial time bomb. Local governments bankrupt. Citizens taxed to the bone. The root of unrest lies in a local financial crisis, with governments reliant on land sales now paralyzed by a collapsed property market. Budget deficits force officials to slash welfare and hike taxes, squeezing the poor. Rampant corruption siphons off social funds, worsening the situation. Shockingly, citizens are forced to pay enormous tributes to the CCP throughout their lives. Commentator Fang Lian calculated that with Shanghai's minimum wage of 2,690 yuan, employers pay 4,700 yuan, but workers receive only 778 yuan. Nearly 3,000 yuan goes to the state. Over 43 years, 1.75 million yuan is taken from wages. Daily consumption adds 540,000 yuan in indirect taxes over a lifetime. Buying a 2 million yuan home funnels 60%, 1.2 million yuan, to the state via land and fees. Total tribute, 3.49 million yuan, exceeding lifetime earnings of 2.95 million yuan. Yet, benefits are meager. Pensions yield only 750,000 yuan. Far less than contributions and lower than Taiwan's. "What do we get for a lifetime of contributions?" Fang Lian asked. The CCP hides this reality, claiming the party provides for the people, while in truth, it fuels social unrest. Collapsing iron triangle, Evergrande and the domino effect. China's economy is reeling from a property market collapse, epitomized by Evergrande's delisting in Hong Kong, a financial shockwave. The iron triangle of government, banks, and developers fueled a bubble. Local governments sold land for revenue, banks issued mortgages, and developers leveraged heavily. The 2015 price-up, inventory-down policy inflated home prices, with Evergrande's debt exceeding 2 trillion yuan. Pre-sold, unfinished homes shifted risks to buyers, creating ghost projects. The collapse has rippled through supply chains, labor, and GDP. Property once accounted for 20 to 30%. In the first half of 2025, home sales dropped 30%, and prices in smaller cities cratered. Local government debt exceeds 100 trillion yuan, with banks drowning in bad loans. Experts urge reforms, reduce land dependency, overhaul taxes, and shift to technology. Yet the CCP hides the crisis's scale to prevent panic, even as a domino effect threatens a massive financial meltdown. A tragic generation. Graduation equals unemployment. China's youth are drowning in despair amid record unemployment. In 2025, 12.22 million students graduated, the highest ever, but the job market is saturated. A graduate from a prestigious 985 university lamented, "My mom sold street food to fund my education. Now I sell ice cream on the streets." Expected salaries of 10,000 yuan are met with 3,000 to 5,000 yuan offers. "They want experience, but I just graduated," one complained. Kindergarten teachers earn under 2,000 yuan monthly for 11-hour days. Thousands of job applications go unanswered, leaving many to take odd jobs or sleep on the streets. Mass layoffs of middle-aged workers worsen the crisis, driving up crime rates. A Shanghai resident warned, "Desperate youth might do anything." The CCP conceals true unemployment rates to project a brighter tomorrow, but the reality is a generational tragedy. The CCP's endgame: people will no longer stay silent. China faces a multidimensional crisis, a collapsing population, rampant unrest, a crumbling economy, and a faltering political system. The CCP masks these with propaganda, but leaks and uprisings reveal the truth. Youth refuse to have children. Citizens pay staggering tributes with little return, and ailing leaders threaten the regime's stability. This is not speculation, but the consequence of decades of flawed policies. As citizens cast a vote of no confidence through resistance, the end of the authoritarian regime is only a matter of time. Your feedback is crucial. Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and like for updates from China Undercover. Thank you.